Welcome back, friends. This is Tripp on Two Wheels, riding along in a beautiful overcast day. I wanted to wait a little bit and make this video, but the forecast called for 9 straight days of rain, so I thought, you know, better get out and make that video today. So, topic for today are the 5 most important mods or must-have mods for the Kawasaki Vulcan S. Now let me say first that the Kawasaki Vulcan S is a great bike, but to really make this bike sing and to make it yours, to make it more than just a 20-mile commuter that you hop on and hop off and that's the end of it, you need some mods. And there's 5 of them that I think are pretty important to make this bike, or to take it from a really good bike to just an amazing bike. And I'm going to list them in reverse order. I'm going to start with honorable mention. Honorable mention would be the windscreen. To me, a windscreen is very important. It's got some advantages though, and it's got some disadvantages. But for me, it's very important because it keeps the wind off my chest when I'm riding at speed or riding on the highway. And that's particularly important at wintertime, or when it's cold, or maybe when it's rainy. And anytime that you're riding long distances or cross country, you're going to get tired sooner or later of 55, 60, 65, 75 mile an hour wind pushing against your chest. It can really wear you out. Come up the hill there. They do come with a couple of disadvantages though. First off, for those of you who like that naked bike feel, it does kind of block your vision just a little bit. You have to get used to that curved or whatever shaped line that you've got with your windshield. And it can also throw the air, shoot the air back up, right up, depending on the speed you're going, into your face shield area, or just right over your helmet, and make for a much noisier riding experience. But that can be easily solved with one of 2 things: a quieter helmet or about a $3 pair of earplugs. The other disadvantage is they can be pretty expensive. This particular windshield that I have on this bike is a Kawasaki OEM quick release, and those can be pricey. There's also some aftermarket out there. You can also get the one from Kawasaki that is not quick release, and they become a lot more affordable. So again, I will list that one as honorable mention because it's really a personal preference. So let's get started with the 5 must-haves. This is a 2015 Vulcan S. It did not come with a gear position indicator, which is extremely helpful, especially for a new rider when you pull up to a stop sign or a stoplight and all of a sudden you think you're in first gear or in neutral or what have you because you forgot to downshift when you pulled up to the light and you happen to be in 5th or 6th. And it's just not a good position to be in when that happens. So the gear position indicator is really important. Now, the 2015-2016 models of this bike did not have the gear position indicator. So that would apply for those bikes. However, 2017 and beyond did. So what would be my number 5 consideration for those models? Well, it would be a tank bag. Tank bag is virtually a must in my opinion because you've got no storage space on these bikes. And there's only so much stuff you can put in your pockets, and putting stuff in your pockets while riding can be dangerous. You know, keys, pens, things like that. A good tank bag is going to be able to hold a bottle of water, a pair of winter gloves, your cell phone, GPS unit if you're not using it, your keys, just all sorts of things. It's really, really handy. think the fourth most important mod that you need to get for your bike is a 12-volt power adapter. I've got one here. You can't see it. It's right behind the GPS, but it's wonderful because if you're using your phone as a GPS, you can just keep it plugged in, not worry about the battery dying on you. You can also charge your phone that way. You can use it for if your GPS is powered by a USB cord. You can use that if you've got undergarments that are electrically warmed, like gloves or a heated jacket or something like that. Very important. If you have a stereo, you know, there's just a lot of accessories that need to be powered by 12 volts. Put an adapter in there and plug in your USB cable and all is well. And I might mention they're relatively cheap too. Probably the cheapest mod that I'll mention today. So, and pretty easy to install. You might have to buy a relay to go with it, but those are 15 or 20 bucks and not too hard to install either. And on to the third most important must-have is a light bar. You really do need more light up front to see at night. This bike comes with a halogen bulb, and to be honest with you, it's not all that bright. And I really like the light bar. I've got one for this bike. It throws out a ton of lumens. It helps keep you safe at dawn and dusk. Can be a little pricey, but I highly recommend them. It's I just think they're spending the extra money to be a safer rider. Look, it's a Grom. Spending that extra money to be a safer rider to me is very important. I use mine. You can see the button and the little green light. It's always on. I use it as a running light. Looks like we got a fender bender there. Good thing I wasn't involved. Thank you. So I'm going to take this moment to give myself a plug here, or the channel anyhow. If you're one of the first 1,000 subscribers to this channel, you are going to be entered into a random drawing. One of the first 1,000 subscribers is going to receive a free GoPro 7. Then hit that little bell so you'll know when the videos come out. How's it going, buddy? Just be sure and make sure that your subscriptions, they've got to be public so that I can see your name to be able to draw it. Now back to the list. Number 2 is a booster plug. Now, some of you may have heard of a booster plug. A lot of you probably have, actually. Some of you may not have, but it's a poor man's version of a power commander. And the only reason I say it's a poor man's version, it costs about 1/3 as much, but it's a really great accessory or a great mod, not too difficult to install. And what it does, it serves as an onboard computer that monitors and alters the fuel flow of your fuel injection, and it does two things. It smooths out the bike, it smooths out the engine. It makes this bike a dream to ride. It cuts down on the engine braking by, I'd say, about 80%, which is really nice, particularly if you're a beginning rider. And you get more horsepower. People say 2 to 5 additional horsepower. I don't know if that's true, but I can tell you that I feel more power in this bike with the booster plug on. On to number 1. And I think anybody that's ever ridden this bike for any distance longer than, say, 20 miles is going to agree with me on this one. And to the number 1, the most needed mod for this bike is the seat. Let's just put it this way. I'm not going to go on and on about it, but I could. The seat on these Kawasaki Vulcan S's leaves a lot to be desired. And that's all I'm going to say. So, what do you need to do? Well, you either need to take your existing seat to a shop that specializes in repacking or redoing seats, or you need to go out and get yourself a custom seat. And right now, the only widely available national brand, if you want to say, or big brand of seat available out there for this bike is the Corbin. I personally like Corbin. I've got a Corbin on this bike. The other big seat manufacturer, custom seat manufacturer, is Mustang, and they do not make a seat for this bike, unfortunately. So that's a list of my 5 must-have mods for the Kawasaki Vulcan S. What are yours? Make a comment down below. Tell me if you agree with me, if you don't. Give me your list. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to learn how I compare with other Vulcan S riders. Also, a lot of you watching are not going to be Vulcan S owners or riders. What do you think the 5 most important mods on your bike are? To take your good bike and make it a great bike, or to take your great bike and just make it an awesome bike? Let me hear. Would love to hear it. Thanks for watching, folks. I really appreciate it. This is Tripp on 2 Wheels saying goodbye. Until next time, ride safe and ride often.